had any consciousness that I was any different. I mean, truly secular without making a big issue of it. And I think these two values stayed with me all my life.
In the words of Major General Virendra Singh, President, Board of Trustees, when dealing with our students, 3 A's, that is, acceptance, appreciation, affection, are always kept in mind.
Modern school is an article of faith with me, and modern school is something which is very dear to me.
The values are excellence and leadership. Modern school was started in order to create Indian leaders for the Indian state.
Sarojini Naidu visited our school. She said, "To see the modern school now, established in its new imposing building, set in spacious grounds, and to recall its modest beginnings in Daryaganj, must surely be a source of pleasure and gratification to all well-wishers of education." Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore visited our school in 1936.
What I could see has impressed me greatly and left no doubt in my mind that it is one of the best educational experiments in India.
टैगोर के गाने, टैगोर के dances, टैगोर के plays, हम लोगों की जिंदगी थे.
The Indianness or the basic Indian culture which was imbibed by us here in the school, at that point of time has not changed even now.
Close your eyes, meditate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
The prayers always ended with the words, as most Hindu prayers do, with the words Om Shanti, Shanti. And it just happened that we had a girl 1 year ahead of us in school by the name of Shanti. She was rather good looking, she was rather attractive, and we were all very, very correct in our behavior towards her. The only time we had an opportunity to play the fool was when we were at prayer time, when the word, towards the end, when it would come to Shanti, the whole lot of us would, at the top of our voice, say, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And I recall that, well, I'd say that Miss K. Bose, that she was amused. It wasn't a case that she was not amused, she was amused. And I remember telling us once, she was very happy that all of us were alert and awake towards the end of the prayer, but she wanted us to be equally, equally alert and assertive in saying the rest of the prayer and not merely the words Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Well, that is what it was. So in other words, there was fun, but good, clean fun.
We were up to no less mischief than what the children are today, because I do believe mischief is a part of a child. Because if a child is not mischievous, he has a dull mind, that's what I think. So it was a very, very happy atmosphere, and this is something that brings back very nostalgic memories to me.
In the senior school where there were 500 students, there were only 28 girls, so you can understand the proportion. We had to prove ourselves to get a position, to become a captain, nobody wanted girls as captains. We had to prove ourselves, and the result is that we became a bit aggressive.
And maybe you should have some students
on the editorial board, the editor-in-chief or whatever. So much so that Mr. Kapoor used to warn parents of orthodox family, girls, don't admit your daughters here because they won't marry at 18 or 20. If that is what you want for your daughters, don't put them into modern school.
what do you think we should have on the Founders' Day cover? What we should have as the cover? Yes, Raghav?
Ma'am, why not have the lamp which is burning brighter even in the new millennium? We can have the lamp on the cover, and we can have Sardar Bhagwant Singh lighting the lamp, since he's the oldest modernite, first modernite to pass out of the first batch.
On 28th October 1938, Rajendra Prasad visited our school.
जिस उत्साह और प्रेम के साथ श्री रघुवीर सिंह जी इस काम में लगे हुए हैं, उसका नतीजा सफलता के सिवा और कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता। और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि यह दिनों दिन उन्नति करता जाएगा।
The little lady informs us that she learns good manners.
ब्रश करना और रात को जल्दी सोना और जल्दी सुबह उठना और ब्रश करना, हर दिन नहाना। सारे जहां से अच्छा
While India was relentlessly pursuing its aim of independence, Europe was getting engulfed in fascism. The Second World War broke out in 1939, and Imperial India yet again had to sacrifice millions of its sons at the behest of the British.
In early 40s, the Second World War was on, and the Japanese had threatened to bomb Calcutta, or they had bombed Calcutta at that time, and there was a bit of a panic in Delhi. So in the evening, when we used to swim in the swimming pool, we used to practice air raid practices used to go out. So siren used to go in the school, and we used to all jump out of the swimming pool, dive into the trenches, and only when the siren went out, then we used to come out of the trenches. Of course, we had to have a shower before we diving into the pool. So that was practice for air raid precautions, etc. in those days.
The general education in the school was certainly an education deeply directed towards our country, that we were to serve our country.
There is a mantra, a short one I'll give you. The mantra is, do or die. We shall either free India or die in the attempt. The children at the modern school continue to remain involved in the freedom struggle in their own zestful way.
The attempt in the school was to try and develop a total personality. And that included our knowledge and understanding of current affairs, and more particularly, the struggle for freedom. We used to have current affairs classes every day, and we were told what was happening where. And sometimes we were also asked to speak on certain developments. We were all greatly excited when the Quit India movement was announced. And I remember we were so eager to make our contribution, and yet we were so young. I was just 15, and those were the days when lots of pamphleteering was on. So there would be circulars and pamphlets prepared about what had happened, where, how certain freedom fighters had been able to succeed in certain ways, what was the kind of British attitude, who had been jailed, who had been killed, and so on. So in other words, there used to be these circulars, because none of this was allowed to be printed in great deal, particularly the successes of the freedom fighters. So we decided that one of the things we could possibly do was to circulate some of these circulars. So late in the night sometimes, Ram Krishan Singh and another friend would turn up at my room, knock at the door and hand over a circular. I could then type on a typewriter. So I would sit down with my typewriter, make copies of this particular circular and bring this in to the school. And then we used to distribute them to let the people know what was happening. So this was very exciting, very, very exciting. And we thought we were making our own contribution towards the freedom struggle.
What is Gandhi saying? What is Nehru saying? What is the Congress saying? What is Jinnah saying? As far as the partition is concerned, partition was being talked about, India-Pakistan divide. So that was all part of education, and that left a bit of an impression on a school. So the school has grown through those years.
स्वतंत्रता का ये संग्राम चरम सीमा पर था, एक संघर्ष हो रहा था। तो बिस्मिल ने कहा है, इधर आ सितमगर, हुनर आजमाए, तू तीर आजमा, हम जिगर आजमाए।
1947, the sacred year for every Indian. 1947, the year of India's independence. While Pandit Nehru became the undisputed leader of young independent India, Lala Raghuveer Singh remained committed to producing quality leaders for the future of the nation. 1947 was also an eventful year for the modern school. The year when Miss Kamala Bose, a distinguished educationist, retired to be succeeded by a young, dynamic and charismatic principal, Mr. M.N. Kapoor.
Mr. M.N. Kapoor came, and it was a new era in his time, and he was a very fine principal.
Mr. Kapoor में कई खास बातें थी। वो टैलेंट को एक क्रिएटिव आदमी को समझने में बहुत देर नहीं लगाते थे, और उन्होंने स्कूल में अच्छे से अच्छे कलाकार, अच्छे से अच्छे शिक्षक, अच्छे से अच्छे टीचर यहाँ स्कूल में बुलाया और उनको काम दिया। सबसे बड़ी बात तो ये थी कि इस स्कूल की कला की, नाटक की, नृत्य की, चित्रकारी की, ये सब डिपार्टमेंट जितने भी थे, ये बहुत फन थे, क्योंकि उन्होंने ये समझा कि किताबी शिक्षा के अलावा भी ये भी शिक्षा के बड़े महत्वपूर्ण अंग हैं, जिसमें बच्चा अपने हृदय में छुपे हुए विचारों को, भावों को बाहर प्रदर्शित करता है।
Maulana Abul Kalam Azad visited us as the Union Minister of Education in 1950.
One of the best teaching centers for developing the personality and character of the students.
While Pandit Nehru was realizing dreams interwoven with free India, Lalaji was turning out worthy citizens to lead it. The emphasis in the modern school has always been on the child and the child alone.
सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट आदमी जो है वो बच्चा है। हम सारे लोग काम किसके लिए कर रहे हैं? एक स्टूडेंट के लिए। तो हमने स्टूडेंट को बहुत इम्पोर्टेंस दी, तो स्टूडेंट के साथ हमारा इमीडिएट लगाव हो गया कि कोई बच्चा आता, हमने कभी किसी को रोका नहीं। कोई बच्चा आना चाहता था, हम कहता कोई नहीं रोके, हम दरवाज़ा हमारा खुला रहता था। जो भी आ जाता बच्चा, हमसे कोई भी सवाल पूछता, हम जवाब देते थे। अगर हम जवाब नहीं देंगे तो बच्चे के दिल में असर कैसे होगा? ये बेसिक बात थी। कोई बच्चा आ जाता था, सर ये प्रॉब्लम है। मैंने कहा बेटा अच्छा ठीक है, मैंने समझ लिया, मैं ठीक कर दूंगा, आपको फिक्र मत करो। तो बच्चों को एक्सेस इतना था मेरे पास कि वो किसी को टीचर भी डरते थे कि अगर हमने ज़्यादा की मिस्टर कपूर को कह देना और मिस्टर कपूर ने सुननी है बात। ये बात बड़ी महत्व की इसलिए है कि मैं बच्चों पे बहुत इतबार करता था कि बच्चा हमेशा शुरू से सच्चा होता है।
I was very fortunate that I got chance to be here in modern school, and the principal at that time was Mr. M.N. Kapoor, who was very kind, and he was very helpful, very encouraging, and he knew that basically I have to be a sarod player. I have to carry forward my family's, my gharana's message.
Often as children, we are shielded by good teachers and we don't realize what a shield they have been. In my own case, I was just after partition. There was great tumult in Punjab. My father is a civil servant. Two of my cousins had been enrolled in Sanaa. And suddenly my father decided, yes, we'll send Arun there also. Got an admission, and I could not adjust to the school, maybe because of the aftermath of the psychological environment of partition or for many other reasons. But then my father decided that my health had broken down as a little child, and he took me out of the school. And I was enrolled in modern school here in Balakhamba Road. Now it was many years later that I learned from my father and from Kapoor sir that actually there had been great protest from the principal of Sanaa school at the public schools principals conference that a child who is withdrawn from one school, and there were some dues, 700 rupees or 500 rupees, I don't know, but my father as a matter of principle had said, no, that's wrong, you didn't do this, that or the other, and he had refused to pay the dues. Probably in the end they were paid. Now there was protest that when this is a dispute going on with the parent, how can you admit that person's child? Throughout my school career, till my education was over and I'd done my doctorate something, nobody ever mentioned this fact to me. And the reason was certainly that if I was in school as a child and the child was told, no, there's a cloud hanging over your being here, he would naturally be apprehensive. Now, never was this mentioned by the teacher.